Aliens approached a human warship. Their sensors couldn't handle the truth. The emptiness of space stretched forever in all directions. Commander Vexthar of the Valian Empire sat in his command chair, watching the stars through the viewing screen. His 3 cruiser ships moved slowly through the neutral zone, scanning for anything unusual. They had been on patrol for 6 cycles now and nothing interesting had happened. Until today. "Commander," his science officer Relmak called out, his voice tight with confusion. "I am detecting something strange." "Very strange," Vexthar turned to face him. "What kind of strange?" "There is a vessel ahead. Unknown design. Unknown origin." Relmak looked at his screens, then looked again. "Sir, the readings make no sense." "The power output is impossible. My equipment must be broken." "Run a full diagnostic," Vexthar ordered. He had commanded vessels for 20 years. He had seen many things. But Relmak was the best science officer in the fleet. If he was confused, something was truly wrong. Minutes passed. Relmak worked at his station running test after test. Finally, he looked up. "Sir, all systems are working perfectly." "The readings are real. That ship ahead of us is generating more power than a small star." Vexthar felt a chill run through his body. "That is impossible." "What kind of ship is it?" "Scanning now." Relmak's fingers moved across his controls. "It is small. Perhaps 800 meters long. Much smaller than our cruisers. It should be a simple cargo vessel or a scout ship." He paused. "But sir, the mass readings keep changing. One moment it reads as 50,000 tons. The next moment 5 million tons. And the energy signature," he stopped, shaking his head. "The energy signature suggests it is powered by something we have never seen before." "Show me," Vexthar commanded. The main screen changed. A ship appeared in the distance. It looked strange. The hull was smooth and dark, with no visible weapons or engines. Lights glowed along its surface in patterns that seemed to shift and move. The ship did not look threatening. It looked almost peaceful. "What are they doing?" Vexthar asked. "Nothing, sir. They are simply floating there. Not moving. Not scanning us. Just waiting." Vexthar did not like this. In all his years of service, he had encountered 17 different alien species. All of them had been either primitive or roughly equal to the Valian Empire in technology. None had been superior. This ship, with its impossible readings and strange design, worried him. "Try to contact them," he ordered. Across the empty space, aboard the ship called HKNS Eternal Horizon, Captain Taemin sat calmly in his command chair. He was a tall man with kind eyes and short black hair. He had been a captain for 7 years, and he had seen many strange things in space. But this was his first time meeting a completely new alien species. "Captain," Lieutenant Hana said from her tactical station, "3 unknown vessels approaching. They are scanning us. Should I raise shields to full power?" "No," Taemin said quietly. "Keep shields at minimum. Let them scan. I want to seem peaceful." "Sir," Communications Officer Subin spoke up, "we are receiving a transmission. Audio only. Should I translate it?" "Please do." The bridge speakers crackled to life. A strange voice spoke in a language they had never heard. But the ship's computer quickly translated the words into Korean. "Unknown vessel, this is Commander Vexthar of the Valian Empire. You have entered territory claimed by the Empire. Identify yourself immediately." Taemin smiled slightly.
He had expected this.
Every species they had met so far thought they owned large parts of space. "Subin, send them our standard first contact message. Tell them we are peaceful explorers from Earth, representing the Terran Alliance." Subin worked at her controls. "Message sent, sir." In the Valian command ship, Vexthar received the response. He listened carefully. Humans, Earth, Terran Alliance. All new words. All unknown. "Relmak, do we have any records of these names in our database?" "Checking now, sir." A pause. "No, sir, nothing. They are completely unknown to us." Vexthar made his decision. Unknown species with impossible technology could be dangerous, but they could also be useful. The Empire always needed new subjects, new worlds to control, new resources to take. "Send them the standard ultimatum," he ordered. "They have 1 cycle to surrender. If they refuse, we will destroy them." On the Eternal Horizon, the crew heard the ultimatum. Most of them looked worried. But Captain Taemin simply closed his eyes for a moment, thinking. "Subin, open a quantum channel to Fleet Admiral Hyun-woo. I need orders." The response came instantly. thanks to the quantum communication system that ignored distance completely. Admiral Hyunwoo's voice was clear and firm. Taemin, maintain peaceful posture. Do not fire unless fired upon. But if they attack, you may defend yourself. I am sending Ambassador Hye-jin with reinforcements. She will arrive in 2 hours. Can you hold that long? Yes, sir, Taemin replied. Good. Remember, we want friends, not enemies. But we will not be victims. Make them understand that. The channel closed. Taemin opened his eyes and looked at his crew. Engineer Sung-ho sat at his station, monitoring the ship's 3 antimatter reactors. Science Officer Yuna was analyzing the alien vessels. First Officer Ji-woo stood ready to take command if needed. Marine Commander Kaite had his soldiers prepared in case of boarding attempts. Prepare response message, Taemin said calmly. Subin, send this. We are the Korean Space Navy representing the Terran Alliance. We mean no harm to you or your empire. We are simply exploring this region of space. We did not know it was claimed. However, we will not surrender. We will defend ourselves if necessary. Perhaps we should talk instead of fight. War helps no one. The message was sent. On the Valian command ship, Vexthar read the response. He felt anger rising in his chest. How dare this unknown species refuse the Empire's commands? How dare they suggest that the mighty Valian Empire should negotiate? Sir, Weapons Officer Krelvo said. Should I prepare weapons? Vexthar thought about this. The strange sensor readings bothered him. But he had 3 cruiser ships. They had 1 small vessel. Numbers would win. Yes, he finally said. Charge main plasma cannons. Target their engine section. We will teach them respect for the Empire. Fire 1 warning shot. Do not destroy them, just disable their engines. Then we will board and take control. Yes, sir, Krelvos replied. His fingers moved across his controls. Plasma lance charged. Firing in 3, 2, 1. Firing. A beam of purple energy leaped from the Valian ship. It crossed the distance in seconds, bright and deadly, powerful enough to cut through a small moon. On the eternal horizon, alarms sounded. Incoming fire, Hana reported. Plasma weapon. Medium strength. Impact in 2 seconds. Hold position, Taemin ordered. Let it hit the shields. Let them see. The plasma beam struck the eternal horizon shields. Everyone watched, waiting for the explosion. But nothing happened. The deadly energy simply vanished, absorbed completely by shields that operated on principles the Velians did not understand. On the Velian bridge, chaos erupted. Impossible, Relmak shouted. That weapon should have disabled them. Their shields just absorbed our most powerful weapon like it was nothing. Vexthar stared at the screen, his skin turning pale. What had he done? What kind of species had he just attacked? On the eternal horizon, Captain Taemin sighed. He had hoped this could be peaceful. But now they had been fired upon. Now he had to respond. Lieutenant Hana, he said quietly. Target that asteroid to our left. The big one. Use point defense gun number 7. Single burst. Show them what they are dealing with. Hana smiled grimly. With pleasure, sir. Aliens approached a human warship. Their sensors couldn't handle the truth. The asteroid hung in space, silent and ancient. It was huge, roughly 10 kilometers across, made of rock and iron. It had been floating through space for millions of years. It would float for millions more, or it would have, if Lieutenant Hana had not pressed the firing button. A small turret on the eternal horizon's hull moved, so tiny it was hard to see. This was a point defense weapon, designed to shoot down incoming missiles. It was the smallest weapon on the ship. Hana aimed it carefully at the distant asteroid and fired for exactly 1 microsecond. The result was instant. The asteroid did not explode. Explosions are slow, natural things. This was different. The rock and iron simply converted into pure energy. For a brief moment, a new sun blazed in the darkness. Then it was gone, leaving only expanding plasma and radiation. On the Valian command ship, every alarm began screaming. Relmak stared at his instruments in complete horror. Commander, he whispered. That weapon released energy equal to 50 fusion bombs. And it was just a point defense gun. Just one of the small weapons. Vexthar could not speak. His mouth was dry. His heart pounded in his chest. He looked at the tactical display. The human ship had hundreds of those small weapons covering its hull. Hundreds. And if those were just the small guns, what could the main weapons do? Sir, Krelvos said, his voice shaking. What are your orders? Before Vexthar could answer, a message appeared on his communication screen. It was from the human ship, but this message was different. It did not use their normal communication channels. Somehow the humans had taken control of his entire system. The message simply said, "Let us talk. Just us, no need to involve others yet. Your communications are blocked until we finish speaking." Vexthar realized with growing fear that the humans had complete control over his ship's systems. If they could block communications, what else could they control? Weapons, life support, everything. "Send response," he said quietly. "I agree to talk." Another message appeared. "Good. We will transport you to our ship. Bring 2 guards if you wish. You will not be harmed. You have my word." "Captain Taman, transport?" The Valians had transporter technology, but it was new and unreliable. They rarely used it. How advanced were these humans? "Sir," his first officer said, "this could be a trap. They could kill you." Vexthar thought about this. Then he looked at the empty space where the asteroid had been. "If they wanted to kill us, we would already be dead. I will go. Prepare my guards." Minutes later, Vexthar stood in the transport room with 2 soldiers beside him. The human ship sent a signal. The Valian transporter activated. There was a moment of disorientation, a feeling of being pulled apart and reassembled. Then Vexthar was somewhere else. He stood in a conference room that made no sense. The walls seemed to shift and change. They were not solid. They looked like they existed in more than 3 dimensions. The lighting came from nowhere and everywhere at once. In the center of the room was a table that appeared to be made of contained plasma, perfectly stable and safe to touch. 3 humans waited for him. Captain Taman was tall and calm. He wore a neat uniform, dark blue with gold trim. His face showed no fear, no anger, just patience. Beside him stood First Officer Jiwoo, a woman with sharp eyes who watched everything. On the other side was Marine Commander Kite, a large man whose casual stance somehow suggested he could move very fast if needed. "Welcome aboard the Eternal Horizon," Taemin said. The words came out in perfect Valian language. "Please sit. We have much to discuss." Vexthar sat slowly, his guard standing behind him. "How do you speak my language so perfectly? We only made contact today." "Our computer analyzed your transmissions and created a translation program," Taemin explained. "It took about 3 minutes. Now, Commander Vexithar, I think we started off badly. You tried to intimidate us. We had to show you that was unwise. But I do not want war. My government does not want war. We are explorers, not conquerors. Can we start again?" Vexthar felt dizzy. 3 minutes to learn a completely new language? This was impossible. Everything about these humans was impossible. "What are you?" he asked quietly. "Your ship, your weapons, your technology. Nothing makes sense. Our sensors cannot read you properly. You absorbed our most powerful weapon like it was nothing. You destroyed an asteroid with a point defense gun. What are you?" Taemin glanced at Jiwoo, then back at Vexthar. "We are humans. We come from a planet called Earth, and I think I need to explain our history so you understand why we seem so advanced." For the next hour, Taemin talked. He told Vexthar about Earth, a world with gravity higher than most planets, a world where the weather could kill, a world where evolution created thousands of species that competed and fought for millions of years. Humans were persistence hunters who never gave up. They were social creatures who worked together. They were curious beings who always asked questions. He told how humans nearly destroyed themselves in wars, how they split atoms and created weapons that could end their world, how they finally learned to work together, how they reached space using primitive rockets. Then he told about first contact. 200 years ago, humans met the Arxians, a friendly species who welcomed them. The Arxians shared their technology and were shocked to discover that humans, who had just learned to leave their planet, somehow had weapons and systems that exceeded what the Arxians had developed over thousands of years. "We did not understand at first," Taemin said. "We thought we were primitive, but the Arxians taught us the truth. Humans develop technology differently than other species. We brute force solutions. We try impossible things, and sometimes they work. Other species follow careful, logical paths. We take wild jumps. Sometimes we fail, but sometimes we succeed beyond anyone's expectations." Vexthar listened, trying to process this information. "But your weapons? Your power source, how?" Science Officer Yuna had quietly joined them. She was a small woman with kind eyes and a patient smile. "I can explain simply," she said. We use zero-point energy. We harvest power from empty space itself, from quantum fluctuations. Your species knows this is theoretically possible, yes? Yes, Vexthar admitted. But only in theory. Actual zero-point extraction would require technology we cannot imagine. Humans imagined it, Una said. And we built it. Our shields manipulate space-time directly. They do not block energy. They redirect it to other dimensions. Your plasma weapon did hit us, but the energy was sent elsewhere, scattered across empty space light years away. And the asteroid? We use contained antimatter. When matter and antimatter meet, they annihilate completely. Total conversion to energy. That point defense gun contained a tiny amount of antimatter, smaller than a grain of sand. That was enough. Vexthar felt sick. If that was a point defense gun, what are your main weapons? First Officer Jiwoo pulled up a hologram. It showed the eternal horizon in detail. We have 50-point defense turrets, she said calmly. 20 medium plasma cannons that can destroy cruiser-sized ships. 5 heavy antimatter torpedoes that can crack a planet's crust. 2 gravity lances that can tear apart asteroids or compress matter beyond neutron density. And 1 experimental weapon we hope to never use. What does it do? Vexthar asked, though he was not sure he wanted to know. It creates a very small, very temporary black hole. We can aim it. The black hole evaporates in microseconds, but while it exists, nothing survives near it. Silence filled the room. Vexthar looked at his hands. They were shaking. If you are this powerful, why have we never heard of you? Why have you not conquered the galaxy? Taemin leaned forward. Because we do not want to conquer anyone, Commander. We had enough war on Earth, we know what it costs. We explore because we are curious. We build weapons because we refuse to be victims again. But we do not attack unless attacked first, so what happens now? Vexthar asked. Now, Taemin said. We hope you will go back to your empire and tell them the truth. Tell them humans are here. Tell them we want peace. Tell them that attacking us would be the greatest mistake they could make. Can you do that? Vexthar thought about Grand Admiral Zorvakis and the High Council. Would they believe him? Or would they think he was lying? I will try, he finally said. That is all we ask, Taemin replied, standing. We will transport you back now. Safe journey, Commander. I hope we meet again as friends. As the transport beam took him, Vexthar had one final thought. The galaxy was about to change forever. Aliens approached a human warship. Their sensors couldn't handle the truth, Commander. Vexthar stood on the bridge of his cruiser, preparing his report. His fingers shook as he recorded everything he had seen and learned. Every detail of the human ship, every impossible weapon, every quiet threat wrapped in peaceful words. When he finished, he encrypted the message and sent it directly to the Valian High Council, bypassing normal military channels. This was too important for delays. The response came 6 hours later. The High Council wanted him to return to the homeworld immediately for a full briefing. Vexthar ordered his 3 ships to begin the journey home. Behind them, the eternal horizon remained in the neutral zone, watching and waiting. On the homeworld of the Valian Empire, the High Council gathered in their great chamber. 12 members sat in a circle, the most powerful beings in an empire that controlled 40 star systems. They listened to Vexthar's report in silence. When he finished, chaos erupted. Impossible, shouted Councillor Varhex. No species could be that advanced without us knowing about them. The sensor readings are clearly corrupted, agreed Councillor Silmaya. Commander Vexthar, perhaps you need rest. This patrol has been long, but not everyone dismissed the report. Councillor Telrix, the oldest member, raised her hand for silence. Commander Vexthar is one of our finest officers. He does not make mistakes. He does not lie. If he says these humans are dangerous, we must listen. Grand Admiral Zorvakis stood. He was a large, powerful Valian with scars from many battles. I have read the report. I have studied the sensor data. My conclusion is simple. These humans have some experimental weapons, yes, but they are hiding behind technology and tricks. They are weak and trying to seem strong. One ship against our empire? They are afraid of us. We should strike now. Show them the power of the Valian military. With respect, Admiral, Vexthar said carefully. I do not think they are afraid. Captain Taemin was calm, too calm, like someone who knows they hold all the advantages. Calm can be an act, Zorvakis replied. I recommend we send a battle fleet to the neutral zone. Overwhelming force. If they are truly powerful, they will back down. If they are bluffing, we will crush them. The council debated for hours. Finally, they voted. 7 members agreed with Zorvakis, 5 sided with caution. The decision was made. A show of force would be sent. Meanwhile, on the eternal horizon, Captain Taman received concerning intelligence from Science Officer Yuna. Sir, I have been monitoring Valian military communications. They are assembling a large fleet, 30 capital ships, 100 cruisers, 500 support vessels. How long until they arrive? Taman asked. Approximately 15 hours. Taman contacted Admiral Hyunwoo again. The admiral listened to the report, then made his decision. I will not let them threaten you. I am bringing the 3rd Fleet. Ambassador Heejin will come with me. We will show them exactly what humanity can do. Sir, is that wise? Taman asked. A large fleet might seem aggressive. So is sending over 600 warships against 1 cruiser, Hyunwoo replied. They want to see human power? We will show them. But Taman, remember this. We fire only if fired upon, not before. Understood? Yes, sir, understood. The hours passed slowly. The crew of the Eternal Horizon prepared for battle, but they were not scared. They trusted their ship. They trusted their training. Most of all, they trusted that the 3rd Fleet would arrive in time. In the mess hall, Engineer Sung-ho sat with Medical Officer Mina. Do you think they will really attack? He asked. Probably, Mina said. Most species do. They see us and think we look like easy targets. Humans are smaller than most aliens. Our ships are compact. We do not look dangerous. Then they learn the truth. I almost feel sorry for them, Sung-ho said. So do I, but they chose this. Captain Taman gave them every chance for peace. 15 hours later, space itself seemed to tear open. The Valian fleet emerged from hyperspace in a perfect sphere formation, completely surrounding the eternal horizon. 630 ships appeared in seconds, their weapons already charged and ready. On his flagship at the center of the fleet, Grand Admiral Zorvakis smiled. He studied the tactical display. 1 small human ship, his entire battle fleet. This would be easy. Open all channels, he ordered. I want them to hear this. The communication went out to the eternal horizon and to all Valian ships. Human vessel, this is Grand Admiral Zorvakis of the Valian Imperial Fleet. You are surrounded. You are outnumbered. You have 5 minutes to power down all weapons and prepare for boarding. If you refuse, we will destroy you. These are your only options. Choose quickly. On the bridge of the eternal horizon, the crew remained calm. Lieutenant Hana watched the tactical display showing all 630 enemy ships. Sir, should I raise shields to full power? Not yet, Taman said. He checked the time. Subin, open a channel to the Admiral's flagship. Channel open, sir. Grand Admiral Zorvakis, Taman said quietly. I urge you to reconsider. You do not want to do this. Please stand down and we can talk, Zorvakis laughed. You are surrounded by my entire fleet and you tell me to stand down? Human arrogance is impressive, but also foolish. 4 minutes remaining. As you wish, Taman said. He closed the channel. Then he smiled. Hana, how long until the Admiral arrives? 30 seconds, sir. Perfect timing. Across the Valian fleet, sensor operators began shouting warnings. Something was happening. Space was distorting. Energy readings were spiking. But it was too late to react. The space around the Valian fleet suddenly twisted. 5 Korean Space Navy heavy cruisers appeared in perfect diamond formation around the eternal horizon. Each one was larger than the biggest Valian ship, bristling with weapons that hummed with barely contained power. Then 10 battleships folded space and appeared. Each one was massive, 2 kilometers long, covered in armor that seemed to drink in light. Finally, at the very center of the formation, the flagship arrived. The HKNS Indomitable Will was 5 kilometers of technology that defied understanding. Its hull was smooth and dark like the eternal horizon, but covered with weapons that made the battleships look lightly armed. Gravity distorted around it. Space itself seemed to bend. Across the entire Valian fleet, every sensor system crashed. The energy output from the human ships was so overwhelming that the instruments simply failed. Backup systems tried to engage and failed. Manual instruments showed impossible readings that suggested the laws of physics had stopped working. On the bridge of his flagship, Grand Admiral Zorvakis stared at the tactical display as it flickered and died. His weapons officer tried to target the human ships and found that the targeting computer refused to lock on. The energy signatures were too powerful. The systems thought they were trying to target suns. Sir, His first officer whispered. What do we do? Before Zorvakis could answer, every screen in his ship activated. A human face appeared. Admiral Hyunwoo looked stern but not angry. He spoke in perfect Valian. His voice transmitted to every ship in both fleets. I am Fleet Admiral Hyunwoo of the Terran Alliance, commanding the 3rd Fleet of the Korean Space Navy. You have threatened one of my ships. You have attempted to ambush us with overwhelming numbers. This was unwise, he paused. However, we believe you acted from ignorance, not true hatred. You did not understand what you were facing. So I will give you one chance, just one. Power down all weapons immediately. Retreat to your side of the neutral zone. Send ambassadors to talk. Do this and we will forget this incident. Refuse, and I will show you why humanity did not ask anyone's permission before we came to explore this region of space. Silence filled the void. Zorvakis looked at his weapons display. Should he fire? Could he win? He had 600 ships against 16 human vessels, but his sensors were not working. His weapons could not lock targets, and he remembered Vexthar's report about the asteroid that was unmade by a point defense gun. Show me, he said quietly. Show me what you can do. Then I will decide. Admiral Hyunwoo's expression did not change. As you wish. All ships observe. The indomitable Will's main weapon powered up. It was mounted on the front of the ship, a massive assembly that glowed with blue light. The weapon did not fire energy or projectiles. Instead, it manipulated gravity itself. A distant moon orbiting a gas giant became the target. The gravity lance fired. From the Valian ships, it looked like nothing happened, just a brief shimmer in space. But at the moon, reality broke. Gravity suddenly increased to impossible levels. Matter compressed. Atoms were crushed together. The moon collapsed into a point smaller than a fingertip. Then the weapon released it. The matter expanded instantly, released from its compressed state. For a moment, there was a flash of radiation that bathed the entire area in light. Then there was nothing. The moon was gone. Not destroyed, unmade, converted to energy and scattered across space. In the Valian fleet, panic spread. Zorvakis felt his confidence shatter like glass. That weapon had not destroyed a moon. It had erased it from existence, and the human flagship probably had more than one such weapon. Power down all weapons, he ordered quietly. Send the retreat signal. Aliens approached a human warship. Their sensors couldn't handle the truth. The Valian fleet powered down their weapons slowly, one ship at a time. Grand Admiral Zorvakis sat in his command chair, feeling older than he ever had before. His entire career he had believed the Valian Empire was the most powerful force in the galaxy. Now he knew the truth. They were children playing with toys while adults watched from the shadows. Sir, his communications officer said quietly, the humans are sending a message. Put it through. Admiral Hyunwoo appeared on the screen again. His expression had softened slightly. Admiral Zorvakis, I'm glad you chose wisdom. No one needs to die today. I am sending a shuttle to your flagship. It carries our ambassador and her diplomatic team. They will discuss terms with you. I recommend you listen carefully to what they say. The channel closed. Zorvakis looked at his officers. They were all watching him, waiting for orders. Contact Commander Vexthar. Tell him to return to the flagship immediately. He tried to warn us. Perhaps he can help fix what I have broken. An hour later, Commander Vexthar stood in the main conference room of the flagship. With him was Grand Admiral Zorvakis, 3 counselors from the High Council who had come with the fleet, and 2 Valian diplomats. They waited nervously for the humans to arrive. The door opened. Ambassador Heejin walked in first. She was a middle-aged woman with gray-streaked hair and intelligent eyes. She wore elegant robes that seemed to change color as she moved. Behind her came 2 assistants and a translator named Dong Hyun, though Vexthar suspected the translator was more for show than necessity. The humans probably already spoke perfect Valian by now. Gentlemen counselors, Heejin said, bowing slightly. I am Ambassador Heejin of the Terran Alliance. I hope we can resolve this situation peacefully. She sat down at the conference table. Her assistants placed small devices around the room. These are translation and recording units, Dong Hyun explained. Everything we discuss will be recorded and translated perfectly. This protects both our peoples from misunderstandings. Counselor Telrix, who had come despite her advanced age, spoke first. Ambassador, we owe you and your people an apology. We acted hastily and foolishly, but we must understand. How did humanity become so advanced? Where did you come from? Why have we never heard of you before? Hyojin smiled. These are fair questions. Let me explain our history more completely than Captain Taemin had time to do. For the next 2 hours she talked. She told them about Earth, a planet where life had evolved in constant competition, where predators and prey both developed intelligence, where humans learned to survive not through strength or speed but through persistence and cooperation and tool-making. She explained how humans nearly destroyed themselves. We had wars that killed millions, she said quietly. We created weapons that could end all life on our planet. We poisoned our air and water. We were not wise. But we learned. Eventually, we learned. Then she spoke about humanity's expansion to space. 200 years ago, we met the Arxians. They are a peaceful species who welcomed us. They expected us to be primitive. We expected them to be gods. Both of us were wrong. We learned that humans develop technology in unusual ways. We take risks. We try things that seem impossible. Sometimes we fail. Often we fail. But when we succeed, we leap forward. But your weapons, Zorvakis said, your power sources, these are not just advances. These are fundamental breakthroughs that should take thousands of years to achieve. Yes, Hyojin agreed, and they did take thousands of years. But not our years. You see, humanity learned about quantum mechanics very early in our development. A scientist named Einstein gave us the foundation in the early 20th century. Another scientist named Hawking expanded on it. We had brilliant minds working on impossible problems for generations. Most of their ideas did not work, but some did. Dong Hyun pulled up holograms showing human history, scientific progress displayed as a graph. Look at this timeline, he said. Human advancement is not steady, it jumps. We have long periods of slow progress, then sudden breakthroughs. When we met the Arxians, we shared our knowledge. We thought we were giving them simple things. They were shocked. Ideas we considered basic were revolutionary to them. So you are not conquerors, Telric said. You are explorers who accidentally became too powerful? That is a fair description, Hyojin said. We do not want an empire. We tried that on Earth, it always ends badly. We want to explore, to learn, to meet new species and share knowledge. But we will not be victims. We will not allow anyone to threaten us or hurt us. Zorvakis leaned forward. What do you want from us? From the Valian Empire? 3 things, Hyojin said, holding up 3 fingers. First, we want a formal treaty. You recognize our right to explore this region of space. We recognize your empire's borders. Neither side enters the other's territory without permission. Agreed, Zorvakis said immediately. What else? Second, we want a cultural exchange. Send some of your people to Earth. Learn about us. Let us learn about you. Understanding prevents war. Also agreed. And the third thing? Hyojin's expression became serious. We want you to tell other species about us. Send messages to your neighbors, to other empires and federations. Tell them that humanity is here. Tell them we seek peace, but also tell them what happens to those who attack us first. We do not want to keep demonstrating our power. It feels like bullying, but species need to know the truth before they make mistakes like today. The Velians looked at each other. This was not what they expected. No demands for tribute, no requirements to join a human empire. Just peace, understanding, and honesty. Why? Vexthar asked. Why are you being so generous? You could demand anything. We could not stop you. Because fear makes poor friends, Hyojin said simply. And humans have learned that friends are more valuable than subjects. The Arxians are our friends. We protect each other. We share freely. We are both stronger for it. We hope the Velian Empire can become our friend too. Counselor Telric stood, bowing deeply. Ambassador Hyojin, you have given us much to think about. On behalf of the High Council, I accept your terms. We will prepare a formal treaty. We will send ambassadors to Earth, and we will tell the galaxy about humanity exactly as you have asked. Thank you, Counselor, Hyojin replied. There is one more thing. A personal request. Name it. Grand Admiral Zorvakis made a mistake today. He acted from ignorance and pride. But humans understand mistakes. We have made many ourselves. I ask that he not be punished for this incident. He has learned. That is enough. Zorvakis stared at her in shock. She was protecting him after he had threatened her people. That is very generous, Telric said. But why? Because punishing him serves no purpose, Hyojin explained. He will tell others about what he saw here today. His story will spread through your military. They will learn from his mistake. He becomes a teacher, not a failure. Zorvakis felt something strange in his chest. Respect. He had spent his life believing strength meant dominance. These humans showed him that strength could also mean mercy. Over the next few hours, the diplomats worked out details. Communication protocols, exchange programs, trade agreements, scientific cooperation. The Valians would send a delegation to Earth within 1 month. Humans would establish a small embassy on the Valian homeworld. As the meeting ended, Vexthar approached Ambassador Hai-Jin privately. "Ambassador, may I ask a personal question?" "Of course, Commander." "How many ships does humanity have?" "Your third fleet is 16 vessels." "How many fleets exist?" Hai-Jin considered her answer carefully. "Commander, I will tell you this in confidence. Earth has 10 fleets. Each fleet contains between 10 and 20 capital ships plus support vessels. But please understand, most of these ships are explorers, not warships. We are not building an armada to conquer anyone. We are building ships to see what is out there in the universe." 10 fleets, Vexthar repeated quietly. "And the third fleet nearly made our entire battle group surrender without firing a shot." "Yes," Hai-Jin said. "That is why we ask you to tell other species about us. We do not want more incidents like today. We do not want to keep proving ourselves. We want to explore in peace." "I will tell them," Vexthar promised. "I will make sure the entire galaxy knows. Humans are here, and they are not to be threatened." As the Valian fleet prepared to return home, Captain Tae-min stood on the observation deck of the Eternal Horizon with Lieutenant Hana. They watched the alien ships jump to hyperspace one by one. "Do you think they learned?" Hana asked. "I hope so," Tae-min replied. "But even if they did not, others will. The word will spread. Maybe next time we can make friends without needing to show our weapons first." "That would be nice," Hana agreed. "I did not become a naval officer to fight. I became one to explore." "Me too," Tae-min said. "Me too." Aliens approached a human warship. Their sensors couldn't handle the truth. 1 year had passed since the incident in the neutral zone. The galaxy was a different place now. Word had spread quickly, carried by Valian traders and diplomats who told everyone they met about the humans, the species that appeared from nowhere, the people whose technology broke sensors and unmade moons, the explorers who offered friendship but promised devastation to anyone who attacked first. On Earth, in the city of Seoul where the Korean Space Navy headquarters stood, Commander Vexithar walked through gardens that seemed impossible. Trees grew taller than any he had seen, their branches reaching toward a blue sky. The gravity was crushing. It took all his strength just to stand upright. Yet humans moved through this environment easily, jogging and playing sports like the weight meant nothing. "Your world is terrifying," he said to his guide, Communications Officer Subin, who had volunteered to show him around Earth. She laughed. "Many aliens say that. But to us this is home. We evolved here. Our bones are dense. Our muscles are strong. We are built for this gravity." "I understand now why your ships are so powerful," Vexthar said. "If you can survive this world, building strong things must come naturally." "Perhaps," Subin said. "Or perhaps we just refuse to accept limitations. Humans are stubborn. When someone says something is impossible, we take it as a challenge." They walked to a memorial wall where names were carved in stone. Thousands of names. "Who were they?" Vexthar asked. "Astronauts and cosmonauts who died exploring space before we had proper technology," Subin explained. "We sent people to orbit in metal capsules powered by controlled explosions. Many did not return. But we kept trying. We kept pushing forward. That is the human way." Vexthar traced one of the names with his finger. "We have memorials too. But ours honor warriors who died in battle. Yours honor people who died trying to explore." "Both are worthy of honor," Subin said. "But yes, we prefer exploration to conquest." Across the galaxy, the news about humanity had reached every major civilization. The reactions varied greatly. The Karvesh Collective, a federation of merchant species, immediately sent ambassadors to Earth. They saw opportunity. Humans had technology to sell or trade. The collective specialized in connecting buyers and sellers. Within months, they had brokered deals for human quantum communicators, medical technology, and energy-efficient systems. The humans sold some items, but not weapons. Never weapons. The Thaxian hive, a species of insect-like beings who shared a group mind, was fascinated by human individualism. How could billions of separate minds work together without being connected? They sent scientists to study human psychology and society. The scientists returned changed. questioning their own hive structure for the first time in their species' history. The Draken Warlords, a military empire that controlled 20 star systems through force, responded with anger and fear. They declared humans a threat and closed their borders, but they did not attack. They had heard what happened to the Valian fleet. They were cruel, not stupid. On the Valian homeworld, Grand Admiral Zorvakis sat in his office reviewing reports. He had not been punished for his mistake, just as Ambassador Hijin had requested. Instead, the High Council had given him a new assignment. He was now the director of Xenomilitary Studies, responsible for analyzing the military capabilities of other species and advising on how to interact with them. His first major report had been about humanity.
He had written honestly.
Humans were more powerful than any known species. Their technology was centuries ahead, but they were not aggressive. They valued peace and cooperation. His recommendation was simple: treat humans as honored allies, never as enemies. The report had been distributed to every Valian military installation. It was required reading for all officers. Zorvakis hoped it would prevent another admiral from making his mistake. A message appeared on his screen. It was from Commander Vexthar, who was still on Earth. The message contained a video file. Curious, Zorvakis opened it. The video showed a human city at night. Millions of lights sparkled in the darkness. Vehicles moved through the air using some kind of anti-gravity. Buildings reached kilometers into the sky. And in the distance, visible even from the city, was a space elevator. A cable stretching from the ground to orbit, with vessels climbing up and down constantly. Vexthar's voice narrated the video. Admiral, you asked me to assess whether humans were truly as advanced as they claimed. I can now answer definitely. They are more advanced than we imagined. This is just one city on their homeworld. They have hundreds like it. And this is considered old technology by human standards. Their newest cities are built on other planets in other star systems. Sir, we are fortunate they chose friendship. War with humanity would have ended our civilization. Zorvakis closed the video and sat back in his chair. He felt no shame about this anymore. Just relief that he had been wise enough to surrender when he did. On the HKNS Eternal Horizon, Captain Tayman had been promoted. He was now Commodore Tayman, commanding a small task force of 3 cruisers. His mission was peaceful exploration, making first contact with new species and establishing diplomatic relations. Today, his task force approached a new star system. Sensors detected radio signals, primitive but clear. Another intelligent species. Another chance for friendship. Lieutenant Hana, he said to his tactical officer, who had also been promoted, make sure all weapons are powered down. I want to look as peaceful as possible. Yes, sir. Weapons offline. Shields at minimum. We are basically unarmed. Good. Subin, prepare first contact package. Standard greeting in multiple languages. Let them know we come in peace. Engineer Sung-ho smiled from his station. Sir, do you remember the Valians? How they thought we were a primitive cargo ship. I do, Tayman said. Why? Because according to our scans, this new species has technology similar to the Valians. They are going to make the same mistake. They will see our small ship and think we are weak. Let them think that, Tayman said. As long as they do not shoot first, we will get along fine. Medical Officer Mina, who had recently joined the command crew, spoke up. Sir, have you noticed that we have become famous? There are stories about us across the galaxy. Some species call us the Hidden Ones because we developed in isolation. Others call us the Starbreakers because of what happened to that moon. I know, Tayman said. I hope our reputation prevents wars rather than starting them. It will, First Officer Jiwoo said confidently. Fear can be a tool for peace if used wisely. We show strength, but we offer friendship. That combination works. The new species detected the Eternal Horizon and sent ships to intercept, just like the Valians had done 1 year ago. But these aliens had heard the stories. They approached cautiously, weapons powered down, sending greetings instead of threats. Captain Tayman smiled. It seems our reputation precedes us. Subin, respond warmly. Tell them we would be honored to meet them. The first contact went smoothly. The new species, who called themselves the Malakians, were excited to meet humans. They had many questions. How did humans develop such advanced technology? Were the stories true? Could they really destroy planets? Tayman answered honestly but carefully. Yes, humans had powerful weapons. Yes, they could cause great destruction. But no, they did not want to. They wanted to explore, to learn, to make friends. The Malakians were relieved and intrigued. Over the following months, humanity continued expanding peacefully. They established embassies on 12 worlds. They shared some technology, always being careful not to give away military secrets. They traded goods and knowledge. They made friends, but not everyone welcomed humanity. The Dracon warlords continued to see them as a threat. Pirates and raiders learned to avoid ships with human markings. A few small aggressive species tried to attack human vessels and were quickly taught the error of their ways. One incident stood out. A pirate fleet of 40 ships ambushed a human medical vessel carrying supplies to a plague-stricken world. The medical ship had no weapons. The pirates demanded everything. The medical ship's captain, a woman named Captain Bora, responded calmly. "You have made a mistake. This ship carries medicine for dying people. We will not surrender it. You have 30 seconds to leave before my escort arrives." The pirates laughed. They saw no escort. They prepared to board. 29 seconds later, the HKNS Shadowblade appeared. It was a stealth destroyer, invisible to normal sensors, that had been shadowing the medical ship the entire journey. The destroyer did not negotiate. It did not warn. It simply disabled every pirate ship in 5 seconds using electromagnetic pulse weapons. The pirates survived, but their ships were dead in space. The Shadowblade transmitted their location to local authorities and continued escorting the medical vessel. Within hours, the story spread. Human medical ships were protected by invisible warships. Pirates learned to leave them alone. Back on Earth, in a small apartment in Seoul, Science Officer Yuna sat with Ambassador Hyejin, sharing tea and discussing the past year. "Do you think we did the right thing?" Yuna asked. "Revealing ourselves to the galaxy this way?" "I think we did the only thing we could do," Hyejin replied. "We could not hide forever. We are explorers. Eventually someone would find us. Better to control how they learn about us than to have them